On this episode of Lift Arc Builds, we turn a retired propane tank into a custom fire pit. That was the perfect amount of gasoline. That was cool. Behind me is a propane tank, and we're about to turn it into metal art. Follow along, it's gonna be a fun one. Figure out which direction this valve is supposed to unscrew. Not one to give it up. And I can't burn it off because it's still partially got some propane in it. Bigger wrench. Let's see if this works. Yeah. Now, is it righty-tighty or lefty-loosey? Or righty-tighty or righty-loosey, I mean. You may be wondering why I am attempting to remove the valve of a giant propane tank. Fair question. We're gonna turn this into a custom fire pit. We've CNC plasma cut a really cool wraparound template that will wrap around this thing, transfer onto the front, and then cut this awesome design out of it. And then we'll put a door down at the bottom that we can open and close to get the ashes out and stuff, and cut the top partially off. But before any of that happens, gonna take the valve off, fill the tank with water so that the water displaces any potential explosive gas, i.e. leftover propane. Otherwise, you go to start cutting and it's a bomb. And that's not how I'm trying to go out, you know what I mean? However, this thing, I've got a ratchet strap to this column because otherwise it's hard to hold, but this collar here makes it a little annoying to use a wrench, but I'm very close. I've got it kind of broken loose. Let's see. Really need a pipe wrench, and I don't know where my pipe wrenches are. I've got bigger ones, but that'd be a good start. Yeah. Oh yeah. If you've never seen a propane tank this big before, I don't blame you. There's nothing different from this tank than the tank that powers your barbecue grill, other than it's 4 times the size. All right. That's what the inside of a propane valve looks like. Chime in the comments if you know what this thing's for. I have no idea. Cool. So now we just fill that with water until it overflows. So I know that 100% of the volume at that point has been replaced with water, and all the flammable gas has been shot out the top. And then I set it on fire. This is the kind of thing that if we had more time, or I don't know, I want to do more art like this more often, I guess is what I'm saying. Because it's going to be fun. It's going to be a cool result. We will have used some of our interesting capabilities here. And actually, when I show you the pattern, I'll explain how we did that on the plasma cutter and bring spike in, because it's a pretty cool technique. I think it should work pretty good. Turn into a rocket? Yeah, if you drop the match in there right now, there's a chance nothing happens, but there's also a chance it turns into a pulse jet or a rocket or a bomb, but I don't really want to find out. At least not with the customer's tank. They brought this to us to cut the art into, so another time maybe we will blow ourselves up, but not today. I'll fill it up in here and then dump it outside. Mr. Spikes, sure. Can you help me for a second? I'm gonna fill this propane tank up with water.
Hell yeah.
To displace potential flammable gas.
This is a plasma.
This is our plasma hose.
How's it gonna go to propane?
Can I use our plasma hose for a propane hose?
Yes.
Thank you.
Only this one time.
Thank you. Thanks for being pliable. I don't really know how I'm gonna let the air out, but you can turn it on whenever you're ready, but turn it on like halfway. This is gonna stink. Oh, stinks. Yeah. Oh, God. That's probably not good to breathe in, huh? Yeah, so propane, they add something to make it smell, right? It doesn't actually smell on its own. Boy, that's farts, I think. They add farts. Although that's worse than any fart I've had lately. Okay, okay, fine. At least as bad. Oh, God. It's like
had Taco Bell with you.
Dead corpses, dude.
Oh, no, that's not bad.
Come over here.
Why?
Do you smell it? It comes and goes, too. It's like, it's worse than, it's like old. I wonder if propane can be old. like old meat, I just pass out. So grill tanks are, I guess it's all liquid propane. And then it turns to gas when it leaves the tank. I don't know much about propane, turns out. Because I know from every tank, like from a forklift tank, you can get, there's a valve for liquid and a valve for vapor. You can get both at any time. But this tank, there's only one valve, and it's for vapor. Smell it.
Yeah, I can smell it over there. It's not bad. Whoa, that one was bad.
Yeah. See what I mean? Like every now and again you get smacked with one and it's like, oh God, it's like rotten poop. On this episode of Lift Arc Builds, we mustard gas ourselves.
Yeah, there's gonna be some comments from some science people, whatever you call yourselves.
Well, so here's my theory, and I'm sure people are scrambling to prove me wrong right now, but they put it in there for us to smell it.
Right.
So it can't be poison. They wouldn't let, there's propane heaters inside
Yeah, the
houses.
smell can't be poison.
Right.
Now,
No.
There's a small argument for regulation because they used to call gas the silent killer.
Yeah.
Because you get a gas leak in your house, they'd be like, how did everyone die? It's
Yeah.
like, well,
well, that's because it's replacing air in your house.
Well, that was also natural gas too, but still. Yes, you die from asphyxiation. Right here, I might die from walking on sunshine. I may have gone nose blind to it, actually. I don't know if it's a placebo effect, but I feel kind of high right now. You guys ever listen to Dark Side of the Moon backwards? Do you ever think fish can get wet?
I'm standing over here, by the way, because
Hey Google, how big are the big propane tanks?
The size of big propane tanks can vary depending on the specific type and intended use. Here are some common sizes and their dimensions. Small to medium propane tanks.
Yeah, this is 100 pounds.
Holds up to 4.
23 gallons of propane. Put your nose in there.
yeah, it does smell a little weird.
Right? Like worse than normal.
Like out there, it really smells like propane.
Right.
When you get right there, it's like propane with like rotten Brussels sprouts.
Oh, there it is. Oh, why don't you get the door, sir? I'm sorry for spitting. I know that's gross, but if you could smell this, you'd be having some interesting reactions as well. The smell's gone. There's no more smell in the tank now, so. Oh, we got a tornado effect. We're safe. Seems safe to me. So, here's what we did. Spike drew a cylinder in Fusion and made the design. And then he unwrapped the design and we cut it out on this really flexible sheet metal so that we can wrap it around here. So I'm probably gonna use some self-tapping screws and wrap it around. Let's try that. So is there a top and a bottom to this?
it's reversible.
Okay, oh right. So my theory is, just put a screw in here and then I'll wrap it around.
Yeah.
Can you put a hand right here for a second?
Still smells bad.
Yeah, it still smells really bad. So you were saying on this side, it may not
Yeah.
go all the way.
Right.
Is this about the gap you had in mind?
Well, so essentially what you're gonna do,
Yeah.
so you know, this is perfectly flat up against it and all that. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be spray painted. You'll take it off and flip it and just put it right back through there. It's like, cause it's the exact same thing right through here. So you see how these are angled up like this?
Uh-huh.
See how these are angled up like that?
Yeah.
It's just a reversal. So yes.
So this design is the same as this design.
Right, just flipped.
But so should I not just wrap and affix and spray paint anyway? Or should I spray paint like half of this?
You can either way.
Okay.
I would probably, just to be on the safer side, I would probably spray this half, right? And then do it on that half, just so you can use this part as the gap, just to make sure it's.
Right.
That's how I would like, you know, in a not perfect world, just to use this as the makeup gap.
How far off are we on the actual circumference versus,
Under 2 inches.
I mean, that's what it looks like here.
Or I think the circumference is like 44 and a half, and this is like 42 and a half.
Uh-huh.
So that's what I would do. I would spray paint this half, flip it.
Yeah. All right. Can you hold this like this? I may get a ratchet strap. Really tighten it on there. Still stinks.
Sure does.
All right, is this even on the top?
Looks pretty even.
Hey, smash.
Well, I'm trying to get it to lay flat.
Yeah.
Okay. Tay want do good job. Tay want others to say good job. I want one.
Good job. I want one. Good job.
Thanks. Well, I'm going to use these pipe stands to hold it sideways and then spray paint part of it and then flip the pattern around and spray paint the other half. Cool, cool, cool. So that's our center. Doesn't matter where it is because it's just the same. Take the air gun and blow off the water, do some painting. So then we'll flip it 180 degrees, line the pattern up with the other side and paint that side. So because our pattern is not quite big enough to go around, we'll just do it symmetrically. So if there's a gap where the pattern repeats, which from here to here, that 180 degrees is actually repeated again. It's just mirrored. So we'll turn the tank 180 degrees, rotate the pattern 180 degrees, and then rotate it this way 180 degrees. Now, when I go to cut this, am I making the black parts disappear? Okay, lift it up, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, because else you would cut out.
Cool.
Right?
Yeah.
It's gonna look rad.
Yeah.
It'll look awesome.
I'm just gonna go for it.
Rip and rip.
Let the paint dry and send it, bro.
Rip, lick, stick.
So to cut this, I will be using the hand torch for the Hypertherm Power Max that usually runs our plasma table. So I'll swap out the hand torch and then it's off to the races. Probably gonna set up some work lights so I can see what I'm doing. This is gonna be a smoky mess, so open the door and kick the fan on. Will you give me a quick update? I cut the sides and I spent some time yesterday kind of cleaning up the cut edges with a flat wheel and an assorted array of pneumatic tools. I think it looks a lot better now. It looks really cool, actually. It's the first time I've seen it upright. So I think the pattern is really rad. And the cuts look pretty consistent considering it was cut handheld. Handheld's tough. The CNC table spoils me a little bit. I'm gonna cut the top out where this line is, leave a little radius, not only for aesthetics, but for strength. A little bit of that radius left over will help this thing keep its form. If I cut all the way down to the flat here, there'd be a chance it could sort of squeeze and warp. So if I keep a little bit of this radius, it'll keep it round, theoretically. Okay, I'm gonna spend some time with the surface conditioning tool, I think, cleaning it up. Well, I just learned something about how propane tanks are built. Looks to be some sort of copper solder, copper brazing, bronze. Maybe they braze it. It's like a copper color right here at the joint. I have to look up how they make these, but looks like some sort of brazing, you know. There was a certain amount, my guess would be there's a certain amount of copper in the whatever brazing rod they used to join the 2 layers of steel after they wrapped it into a cylinder. Kind of pretty. It'd be cool to just take it all the way down to bare metal and let that copper seam sing for itself. So I'll probably have to take it down one more go, but so what I'm gonna do now, figure out where I wanna have my door. I'm thinking of having this be the front. Nice, clean, the seam is on the back. It's the center of the design. So I think the door is gonna go here and it'll open. So really all I'm gonna do is draw a rectangle. One side will have a hinge, one side will have some sort of latch, and then I'll start cutting. I'll probably cut the hinge side first and then weld the hinge on so that when I cut the rest of it free, the hinge is already there and all I gotta do is make the latch. So I'm gonna get a tape measure or a flexible ruler. I've got a meeting in 10 minutes, so I'll see you guys in a split second, but real time in a few hours. 12-inch door should work. Come up an inch off of here. 12 inches total. There's your center line. Simple. Let's see what hardware I've got in stock. Not exactly a hardware store, but I've got some hinges that I got from Arc3. Here at Lift Arc, we are proudly supported by Arc3 Gases. Arc3 Gases has supported me for my entire fabrication career, even back when we were at Black Dog. All of our welders, all of our welding gas, everything came from them. And when I started my new shop, I knew who to go to. If you're anywhere near the East Coast or even the whole right half of this country or the entire country, because they ship, you should consider Arc3 Gases for all your welding supply, metalworking tools, and gas and consumable needs. They are a wonderful company with an amazing selection of parts, and of course if they don't stock it, they can order it for you, and they can even drop ship straight to you from the manufacturer. They offer free training and education with any of the tools that they sell or can source for you, and they stand by their product and they're extremely helpful. So shout out to Arc3 Gases. Go check them out for any welding knowledge, education, supplies, or otherwise. They support us and they allow us to continue making free content for you guys, so definitely consider supporting them the next time you're in the market for welding tools and equipment. Back to the video. Right. I like this bent piece. I may just salvage this stainless L as just a drop pin. So I'll take a piece of stainless tubing, cut it into 3 pieces that are all in line. Yeah, I got it. And then I think what I'll probably do is get 2 of these barrel hinges, maybe even 1, 2 smaller ones. Yeah, let's look. Top gets welded to the door and the bottom gets welded to the tank. It's kind of overkill. I've got smaller ones I may use. Open left, thank you, or open right. I think most people are right-handed, so probably latch on this side, open out, versus coming across your body like that. So I think I'll come this way. So the same way that I have it drawn, hinge here, latch on this side. So, like I was saying before, what I'm gonna do, I have this door drawn. I'm going to cut with a cutoff wheel, so it's a much smaller margin and it's much more precise than with the plasma cutter. But I'm gonna go ahead and cut the hinge side, cut that all the way through, and then cut the latch side all the way through, and leave the rest of it for now. Weld the hinges on, and then weld the latch on this side. And then when those are all situated, come and cut the top and bottom loose and it'll be done. And that way the door will stay exactly in the right place because I will have never cut it completely off. So that's the plan. Let's see if it works. I'm gonna TIG weld this because The hinges are really small, and I don't want to have a huge weld bead. They're very visible. I don't want to do any grinding afterwards, so I want to get it right the first time. So I'm going to use some just ER70 S2 filler, set at 175 amps with a foot pedal, 3/32 tungsten, furic gas lens. So what I'm going to do first is fuse these. So just get them tacked in place. Try to get them spaced in from the outside border the same. Aim for about a ½ inch. Just want the tack to hold it in place. Key thing about these hinges to get right, and like I said, you can get these at R3, which is rad. One has a pin, there's a male and a female side. So you want to make sure that the pin is at the top and your load-bearing piece is welded to the pin, and your support structure or whatever, your stationary piece is welded to the receiver. It's also helpful that the ones that do have a grease port, usually the grease port goes down, but you still need to make sure you weld to the right side on each part, because you weld it upside down and you welded, this piece to the door and this piece, or this piece to the door and this piece to the side, but you had the hinge upside down, it would just fall out, so they're meant to work one way. You want to support the bottom, weld the door to the top. So that's what we're doing. If you don't tack it quick enough, it gets hot. Okay, I'm going to put gloves on because you really shouldn't be doing a whole lot of welding without gloves, because even TIG welding, yes, it's not spattery, but you're still exposing your skin to really bright ultraviolet light. So I'm going to put a weld bead down on the outside, on the bottom, and on the inside, on the top, on both of them. I'm going to go down the inside. So we've got our hinges, and now for the latch, I want to do something really simple using something I already have, which is, again, these stainless pieces. Take that rubber piece off, take the spring off, so we got this stainless piece. I'm going to make it to where, I'll show you here in a second. It'll make a lot more sense in a second. So this fits in here good enough. I don't want it to be too tight in case things change or warp, but essentially we'll have a section of this stuff, maybe 3 inches long, and cut at each inch mark, so there's actually 3 separate pieces. We'll weld, just do 2. I'm gonna try a few things here. The door looks to have curled in a little bit, so I'm going to try to just flatten it out by hand. Curled in from the pressure of manufacturing. When they roll this steel, it's under pressure.
So you
it's
unroll
under
it.
tension, I mean. So when you cut it and you release all that tension, it wants to shrink. So this, I'm just trying to flatten out. The cool part is you can take the door off if you need to. See how it's curls. The radius of the door is tighter than the radius of the cylinder right now. I'm just trying not to overbend it. Pretty strong steel. It's getting better. Wow, that's strong steel. I'd love to know what kind of steel they make these tanks out of. It's getting better, I feel like. It's getting close. I bet you this latch drop in. Probably put a handle on it too, but I'm trying to make it quick. I feel like if I had all day, I could make this really, really nice. I'm also trying to move fast so I can keep this project cheap for this guy. He just kind of saw something online and he wanted us to kind of replicate it. And I got to charge him for my time, so I'm trying not to spend 1 million hours on this. But I also want to make it something that I like and it works well, and I don't really like this and it doesn't seem to work well. So spend a little more time working this door. I need something to pry it against. There we go. brass spacers on. So now grind off some of the bottom of this door because it's a little tight. I think if I had a handle, it would be okay. It's just some kind of loop. Let's see what I got. Spring-loaded action. I'd always find a slightly bigger rod if I had one. Fuck, it's still hot. Let that cool down. I may need to grind a little bit more off the bottom of the door, but you know what? I could grind a little off. Now I just got to figure out the clearance between. If I had a lathe, this would be really easy. But basically what I've got is some 5/8 round bar. At least I think it was 5/8. It might have been a little bigger. It was really rusty though, so I cleaned it up on the belt grinder the best I could. And now I've got this 5/8 reamer bit that we use for our fixture table. I'm gonna try to come in here and clean this up a little bit. Do a little heating and a little bending. Kind of cool to leave it long. Kind of like that. Maybe I'll weld a T on it. Or just give it to them. They can put it in there however he wants. Go this way, go this way. You can even go in long ways if you want. I think that's just it. That's the tool. There it is, the fire pit. That last 10% to make it work good and feel good, I feel like is crucial for stuff like this. One thing I definitely want to do, clean up this top a little bit more, clean this edge, and I think we're done. We can start a fire in this thing. Sweet, huh?
That is sweet. Okay, cool. That's the door.
Yeah. You can tell.
You can tell.
Because of the way it is.
Sweet.
Dude, I think it came out awesome.
Yeah.
If I were him, I wouldn't paint it at all.
No, I wouldn't either.
I would just let it live, live its own life.
Yeah.
It's gonna end up the same way regardless. I mean, I don't know if it was powder coat or paint, but whatever base coat, like this primer layer of paint that they make these tanks, they paint these tanks with, this is serious stuff. And yeah, I ground through it in certain places.
You stripped through that.
Huh?
You stripped through the...
A little, just with the Eastwood surface conditioning tool, but.
Yeah, I think it looks great.
So we're kind of at like 4 hours plus your design. Can't remember what I ballparked on that, but I think I might call him and be like, here's what it looks like, here's where we're at. You want me to paint it? It'll be another little bit. Or if he wants to go get like real paint himself, I would recommend not painting it, but yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, like I'll acetone the Sharpie off of it, but I feel like that's it.
Yeah, that looks great, man.
It's funny too, because like with the door, I get it, but just throw firewood right here.
Well, I think that's for the ash.
Ash, yeah. And luckily the whole thing is pretty light.
It still smells bad.
Yeah, it's gonna smell like
Yeah, it looks awesome. Yeah, that looks great. Good job.
shit, man.
That's short.
Nice work on the template.
Let's get more of these.
Yeah, the template really, it makes me look like a hero, but it's really easy to do, you know?